want you guys to think about this for a second, man. Really think about this. Only in AEW does something like this happen. You win the World Championship at All Out. You go to the post-show media scrum. You blast the journalists in the IWC while eating a Mindy's bakery muffin. You blast the EVPs. You're sitting there with a torn tricep. You throw your boss under the bus. You drop a pipe bomb like you never dropped before. You go back to your locker room. Your best friend's waiting there for you. And a big brawl happens. The brawl out situation happens. Your best friend's fighting alongside you. He throws a chair at an EVP. He bites that same EVP. There's fines, there's suspensions, he's fired, and everybody goes silent for the next several months. That friend of yours is terminated. Now AEW announces AEW Collision, and CM Punk is supposed to be the star of the show. That best friend that threw a chair at an EVP, that bit an EVP, he's brought back to the company as if nothing ever happened. Only in AEW can you get away with this type of nonsense and then be brought back to the company. Whose idea was it? I don't know. Now, after yesterday, AEW Collision was announced June 17th. I think we all know CM Punk is going to be a part of it. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to WWE. The deal didn't fall through the cracks. I don't know what happened. We'll never know what happened. We just have to remain patient. There was promotional material with CM Punk all over it. There was promotional material hyping the CM Punk and Samoa Joe rumored match or feud that should be taking place at the start of this new show. And then all of a sudden, all of these promotional materials got pulled. Warner Brothers apparently said it's not a big deal. There was a falling out between CM Punk and AEW, and they're not really upset, and they think that there will be a resolution. Now, Punk was originally listed in the press release and promotional materials for the announcement before being removed. The two sides right now are at odds over a misunderstanding. This misunderstanding comes in the form of Ace Steele regarding him coming back to the company, who was a part of the brawl with the Elite at All Out. There were plans in place for Steele to return, but with the idea that he would not physically be at the tapings and would have to work remotely. That didn't go over well with CM Punk, and that led to a falling out. Dave Meltzer noted on The Observer this morning that Warner Brothers Discovery is hopeful that the two sides can reconcile before the weekly show's premiere. There were people, Meltzer says, who thought this was the ultimate blow-up, and Punk screwed Tony on Tony's big announcement on Tony's big day to Warner Brothers Discovery. From the Warner Brothers Discovery side, because nobody from AEW side has talked about this at all, nor confirmed any of this, from the hopeful side that they will work this out and it's not a big deal. So they're all hopeful that it will be worked out. This is the situation. The United Center is booked, but if there is no Punk, do you go with a different arena? Do you go to the United Center without Punk? Because if you go to the United Center, everyone is going to assume, even if you announce him or not, that he's going to be there, end quote. We talked about this on the podcast on Wednesday. If AEW wants to announce CM Punk in hopes of selling tickets, they could certainly do that. They also have the option to not say anything about CM Punk and really just surprise everybody on June 17th. And if they do book the United Center, I think one way or another, everybody's going to realize that, all right, you're booking the United Center. CM Punk should be there and will more than likely be there. And I think they'll probably do the same thing that they did for the First Dance and kind of sell it out based on speculation that CM Punk will be there for AEW Collision. There was a falling out here between Punk and AEW all over Ace Steele. Why is Ace Steele the end-all be-all for CM Punk and AEW and AEW Collision? Ace Steele was reportedly rehired by AEW months ago. And now he's been told to stay home and work remotely because they don't want him around the talent. Then why hire him in the first place? This is coming from Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling. He reports that AEW rehired Steele several months ago, but has not been actively working while backstage at shows. Why was he rehired then? Are you paying him? I'm assuming if you rehired him, you're paying him. When he was rehired, Steele was told that he would work with AEW president Tony Khan on creative in some capacity. The idea was for him to work remotely because he may upset some talent should he be backstage at shows. There was an understanding that once AEW Collision started that he would return to the road as an agent for the brand, but on Tuesday, the decision not to bring him back to the road was made, something Punk quickly learned about. There was some sort of miscommunication between lawyers leading to Punk being pulled from the announcement. It was added that Punk sounds like he is motivated and wants to help the company's growth however he can. His relationship with Khan also appears to be on sound footing with no issues between them, and they've kept communication wide open. That is coming from Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling. I don't understand why Ace Steele was brought back if he hasn't been used or there wasn't any desire to use him from the day you rehired him until now. And I guess now we know why they are splitting the rosters. Punk wants what Punk wants. Punk wants his buddies there. Punk wants his best friend Ace Steele back in the company. So if the Elite are going to be on Dynamite and working on Dynamite and everybody that doesn't want to work with Punk is going to be on Dynamite, why the fuck not? Let's bring back Ace Steele. He's not going to be working around the people that he got into a brawl with. He's not going to be working with Kenny Omega, who he bit on the arm and threw a fucking chair at. I mean, only in AEW could you throw a chair at an EVP, bite an EVP, and then be brought back, rehired several months ago to take on the same role that you had before All Out happened last year. Who's running this company? Who made that decision? Nowhere. Now, listen, I'm not for one company over the other. I'm not. But it is ridiculous that we got to split rosters for one guy, that we got to bring somebody back that obviously is replaceable for one guy. We're doing everything we can to baby CM Punk and keep CM Punk happy. We're even splitting the fucking roster. We're parting the AEW seas to keep everybody happy here. Don't you realize how childish that is? Honestly. Who's running the company? Is Tony Khan running the company? Doesn't sound like it. Is CM Punk running the company? Sounds like CM Punk's got this fucking company by the goddamn balls. Sapp on Fightful said that this was an idea of Chris Jericho's to bring back Ace Steele as a way to show that everybody can work in a harmonious way backstage. I don't know if that is a good idea. Why are you going to take the risk to upset everybody by bringing back somebody who was ousted big time in the reports about this brawl-out situation? Bring him back and upset people further. I don't get it. I don't really understand why he was brought back. I don't. The one guy that is expendable out of everybody, you could replace him with a fucking dummy that works at 7-Eleven. You can put in that role, and you're going to bring him back. And this is what the holdup is. This is what possibly caused the announcements to be held off. This is what the blow-up was about with CM Punk going back on AEW Collision and Warner, and this fallout between the parties. Lawyers got involved. Ace Steele is one guy that is expendable worth all this headache. It's like a comedy show, man. It's like a comedy show. Tony Khan brought this guy back, man. I don't know what you think. I think it's a terrible look. I really do. I really do. It just goes to show you that nobody has learned their lesson. Nobody. AEW will never learn their lesson. If they brought Ace Steele back, of all people, who you could easily replace tomorrow, and he was brought back after what he did, it goes to show you that there is no real, true leadership in AEW, and that everybody in the company has Tony Khan by the fucking balls. And until Tony Khan puts his foot down, more and more situations like this will happen, and people will get away with it. And I'm genuinely concerned that nobody's learned their lesson. And I'm concerned that you brought this guy back and things for Tony, which they shouldn't have, blew up. Maybe there was an announcement to be made last night. We couldn't make it because of Ace Steele and CM Punk being upset that Ace Steele was not going to be brought back in a working capacity backstage. This is what halted your announcement? Is that worth it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I find it to be utterly ridiculous. I really do. Let me know what you guys think about all that down below, man. Ace Steele, the reason why announcements weren't made. But I said this on Wednesday. He will be at Collision. He will be announced. And if he's not announced, they're going to announce the United Center, and you're going to realize that CM Punk's going to be on Collision anyway, June 17th. They're not going to bust their load in one shot and announce everything in one shot. They're going to space it out. We got 4 weeks to go. Why not play with the fans a little bit? Or, let me put my fucking tinfoil cap on. We could be worked. We may all be worked because everything just, again, like the brawl-out situation, that's the go-to for everybody. Hey, man, you're being worked. We could be. We could be. Who knows? I just want all this shit to be over with because it is draining to read this shit every week, and I just want pro wrestling on Saturday night to go very well for AEW. Speaking of creative, Bryan Danielson is now working in AEW Creative. He actually had a similar role while he was on SmackDown when he was in WWE several years ago. Tony Khan has the final say on everything, obviously, but he does have a strong list of names who contribute behind the scenes, such as the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, Will Washington, and producers backstage. Danielson would likely be seen as a welcome addition. It was officially announced on Wednesday that Collision would start up on June 17th, and Bryan will be a part of the Collision creative team when necessary. I think that's a great move. I enjoyed whatever Bryan was doing on SmackDown and helping out on SmackDown. I think a lot of what he did on SmackDown, you saw some of that change. Now, did that change stick for the long haul? No. You saw talent that wasn't really used get pushed at the request of Bryan. And sometimes, most of the time, I should say, he worked with that talent that would not be used on a normal day. Like Vince never wanted to push somebody like Lindsay Dorado or Drew Gulak or Gran Metalik. Bryan worked with all those guys on SmackDown, especially during the pandemic era. So Bryan wanted those guys on TV. Cesaro was another one. He worked. Cesaro was a mid-card guy for life. Vince never saw anything in Cesaro. Bryan wanted to work with Cesaro, and Bryan was the reason why Cesaro got that little mini push as he was chasing Roman Reigns several years ago. That was all Bryan. That came at Bryan's request. Now they're in the Blackpool Combat Club together, and everything just comes full circle, man. But if Bryan's going to be on the creative team when necessary and lend ideas and start pushing talent and give Tony some ideas about who he should be on, who he should be pushing on television, who he may want to work with, storylines here and there, I think that's great. I really do. I'd love to see Bryan in more of a role like that on AEW television. So we will see what happens with the creative team. One of the things that we talked about was that Tony Khan needs to take everything that's on his plate and start handing out responsibilities. This is the start of Tony Khan delegating, where he does not have to do every single thing, write every show, come up with every storyline all by himself. He's got a solid team for it on Dynamite, on Collision, and everything should go through him, and he should have the final say. But as far as a team, he's got a team together. We're taking the right steps to hopefully get these shows to feel different one week to the next. I love it. Bryan in creative is a great move for AEW. Thank you guys very much for this upload today, for this episode today. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Let's try for 1,000 likes on today's OTS. I will not be live for SmackDown tonight. Make sure you guys tune in on Saturday afternoon at noon. On Saturday, I will be live with the SmackDown post show right here on Off the Script. And make sure you guys go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Guys, thank you so very much for all your support this week. And I'll see you right back here in the venue for more news right here on OTS.